How's it going, everyone? I am going to be talking about a topic that you guys are gonna have a field day with, and you know what? This is a warning. This topic, me talking about it, may potentially incite a little bit of rage in me, so if I start yelling, if I wake up your children, maybe lower the audio now, but it is going to be interesting, and I think it's a reflection on all of gaming, and I think there's a lot of layers to a topic like this because it's actually very, very relevant right now. While you might not realize it's relevant, oh, it most certainly is, and that is Embracer's boss talking about increasing the price of video games beyond $70. So, this is something that you are naturally going to talk about as the years and years go by, and really, you're going to be talking about this forever. Whenever a publisher deems that they can up the price point, the base price point of a game, they will do that. We have settled at $70 because that is the price point that at the moment that they deem to be justifiable to the consumer, and more importantly than anything, that the consumer will pay. Now, Lars Windfors told GamesIndustry.biz that pushing the price of video games higher is something Embracer has discussed, noting, "I'm not saying you can't increase the price, but the reality is no one has tried it. If you create an enormous role-playing game, for example, with 100 or 150 hours of gameplay, very polished and a unique experience, would the consumer be willing to pay more? If they would have more products potentially coming to market, but no one has tried it. It's something we have been discussing, but we are currently sticking to the practice of the industry. Would it be that one company one day that tries to increase pricing? That remains to be seen." I would find it fascinating, and I do think, you guys might tell me I'm crazy, I do think that there are certain games, select few, that you could price at, let's say, $100 and they could get away with it and people would still buy it up. Grand Theft Auto 6, for example. Grand Theft Auto 6 would still sell an incredible amount of copies even if it was priced at $100. Like, I really do believe that. That is one example I can think of. There might be other examples, but they are few and far between, and certainly I don't care if it's an enormous RPG, if it doesn't have a lineage, if it doesn't have a history attached to it, $100 or $150 price tag, I think that is going to be difficult. However, I will give you guys this as a piece of an anecdote. My buddy that is also the microtransaction fiend, you know, the guy that has spent money on Assassin's Creed double XP boosts and things of that nature, buys microtransactions in Diablo 4, Destiny 2, etc., etc. He's a whale. He knows he's a whale, and he comes to a relish in that fact. But we actually had a conversation about being like, yo, a video game for $70 isn't that crazy, and his viewpoint is, well, I usually get 100 or 150 hours of gameplay. Like, I get so much content out of a lot of video games that $70 is really a drop in the bucket given how much content that you could get when you compare it to things like a movie costing X amount of dollars for a movie ticket, a theater ticket, so on and so forth. I feel like that is not as great of a comparison anymore with the explosion of streaming and streaming being so accessible. You can get so much content for, you know, your $15 a month or whatever the price point of certain subscription services. But yes, that movie experience has always been pretty pricey, but I think the theater experience being pricey shouldn't correlate directly with video games being pricey, and if that's the barometer we're gonna use, well, then everything's gonna be expensive. Video games at $70 is the standard right now, but you guys, I think, are relatively intelligent. Most of you guys watching this video are relatively intelligent. Ask yourself this: are games really priced at $70 right now? Let's be honest, they are not. Why are they doing things? Why is Sega doing something like baking in New Game Plus into the Digital Deluxe Edition for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? Well, it's because they don't want you to pay $70. They want you to pay $85, but they're not comfortable with raising the price of the base game, so they're locking away content that otherwise would have been in the game right away. Another feature that a lot of publishers are locking away is the ability to play a game on day one. If you pay $70, you get to play the game on a 3-day delay, and if you pay $100, $110 like Ubisoft is asking for, you get to play the game on day one release. So they are delaying games for 3 days, 5 days for those of you that want to pay $70, and those that pay $100, $110, they get day one access. I know they are promoting Black Ops 6 being on Xbox Game Pass day one. Let's be real, it's not on Game Pass day one. They can promote it however the hell they want. That game's not coming to Game Pass on day one. It'll be in the Digital Deluxe Edition a week before that. So yes, you can play it on Game Pass day 7 for $10 a month, or however they price that, or paying $70 on PlayStation. But let's be real, you want day one access, you're paying $100, $110. That's not to include things like Star Wars Outlaws having day one story-based DLC locked away in the Gold Edition. Again, they're artificially raising the price point of the game by locking away content that otherwise would have been in the base game. Now it's in these Digital Deluxe Editions, these Gold Editions, so on and so forth. And I am totally of the mindset that, again, if they could price games at $80, $90, they would. And there's always been this debate as more and more games are moving to digital and people are buying games digitally. Some people have questioned, hey, why, if a game is being released digitally, am I still paying $70 for it and not a discounted price point, given that the publisher is raking in so much more revenue, orders of magnitude more revenue by releasing and selling a game digitally than they would physically? Well, there's two reasons for that. First of all, and right now very relevant, they're still selling the game physically at your local Walmarts, Best Buys, EB Games, if those exist, GameStop, so on and so forth, that you don't want to undercut your partners, your retail partners that you are selling these games at. That would annoy them. But even if a game had an exclusive digital release, yes, I know Alan Wake 2 was slightly discounted. Oh boy, it was $60 instead of $70. How about that? $10 savings. But in reality, some people are asking, hey, why wouldn't these games be priced at $40 instead of $70 if they were digital only? You're saving so much money by releasing the game on the PlayStation Store and digital storefronts than releasing the game physically. Guys, they don't price these games out based on your best interest. They price these games out based on what is the accepted value that the consumer is going to pay. Why would any business lower that accepted value if suddenly these games came out digitally and they were releasing at $40? Yes, maybe the sales numbers would increase a little bit. Do you really think the sales numbers would 1.8x or 2x based on a $40 price tag instead of a $70 price tag? Hate to break it to you guys, I don't think it would, and I am sure the Ubisofts, the Activisions, all of those publishers have data that reinforces this belief. That's why they release games at $70, because that is the accepted price point that the consumer is going to pay. If it was even higher than that, if consumers had accepted an $80 or $100 price point for the base game, that would have already happened. Right now, they're being a little bit funny with it by doing fake early access and some day one story content, New Game Plus into these Digital Deluxe Editions, but that isn't the base game. They're just incentivizing you ways to buy the higher editions. But even if games went fully digital, they would still be $60 to $70. I don't believe they would lower the price point because that is the accepted value. You don't want to lower that. And also, if a game releases at $70, that gives them more headroom to discount the game and be like, hey, it's $70 a month from now or 3 months from now, it's 20% off. Then 6 months from now, it's 40% off. And 40% off of $70 is higher than 40% off of $50. How about that, you guys? I can do first grade level math, but you guys get the idea. Going all digital will not make these games cheaper. I get it on PC. There's great stuff like Humble Choice and things like that that offer you games at great prices, but we're talking about day one releases. They're not gonna go down magically to $40 because suddenly then you're lowering that accepted value, and that's the last thing that any major publisher wants to do when it comes to affecting their bottom line. But as far as games going beyond $70, the base price point, because at this point the majority of games are already above $70 with stuff like fake early access and legitimate content being locked out of the game, At some point, I do believe that a publisher is going to go with $80, $100, and at some point, I do think we're going to hit a tipping point, because I don't know what's going to happen if a Callisto Protocol, for example, could you imagine if that game dropped at $100, if the accepted price point was $100, and Callisto Protocol is coming out at $100, or Immortals of Aveum is coming out at $100, brother? Good luck. Good luck and pack a lunch. I don't care how much you invested into the development of Immortals of Aveum. I don't give a damn. You paid $125 million to develop Immortals of Aveum. If you think anybody's paying $100 for that game, or a game of that level, you are high out of your mind. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, you know, that is going to be an interesting gauge, but I do think there are games that could get away with a $100 price tag. GTA 6, I would be very, very interested if Rockstar isn't discussing that. I would imagine that's the idea of a GTA 6 coming out with a $80 or a $90 price point has at least been thought about. It has to have been thought about, at least I would assume, but that's gonna do it for me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. How would you feel about price points of video games going up even higher beyond $70? I know a lot of you guys are more so budget consumers and you're waiting for discounts anyway, but remember, if the base price goes up to, let's say, $80, $90, suddenly your 50% discount is worth less, suddenly your 60% discount is worth less, and you would have to theoretically wait longer. However, when you release games at $70, they tend to flop even harder when they're not good, and you look at a Suicide Squad, you look at a Skull and Bones, they tend to hit the bargain bin pretty damn fast, and you're seeing that with Suicide Squad as well as Skull and Bones. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Interested to hear what you guys think. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.